My heart, pumping all day long. Get me the morning when darkness comes. My heart, ooh. It takes so long to mend. It's harder to lean on this shell of a man. You found love in the Lord, your family and your friends. Could you please pray for me that I can find the same within? My heart, pumping all day long. When the evening comes, please stay strong. Give me the morning when darkness falls. My heart, I found victory in the Father's love from the day we wed. And those vows still hold true. Nothing's gonna tear me down until the damn end. My heart belongs to you. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what He gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of a smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like a love, nothing like a love of a woman. The way she turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. Yeah. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of your smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like love, nothing like love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, way she holds you tight when you need it most. It gives you just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you find out. That's when you find out what you're made of. My heart is like a lighthouse, just trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. We were younger when we first laid eyes. I was walking up in heaven's skies. How about you? Did you feel it too? Don't believe in love at first sight. Now you make me wanna change my mind. How about you? Oh, how about you? My heart is like a lighthouse, just trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. Trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. I just wanna hold you, just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. Walking a great line in a world that's black and white. Wondering why things they did not turn out quite right. Please believe me, please don't leave me. I said I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? The rain, the rain, the rain is falling slow. It's cold, we know, we're standing in it too. You're there, your hair is soaking wet. Please take my jacket, take it. Please believe me, please don't leave me. I said I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? Please believe me, please don't leave me now. I said I'm sorry, I said I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? The rain, the rain, the rain is falling slow. It's cold, we know, we're standing in it too. You're there, your hair is soaking wet. Please take my jacket. You look better in it anyway. You look better in it anyway. Just take it. Just take it. Watching you go through it. You're living, you're loving, you're laughing, you're playing, you're singing, you're dancing in the dark. You're dancing in the dark. I said I'm sorry. You're dancing in the dark. Dancing in the dark. I said I'm sorry. You're dancing in the dark. Wind is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand. just do what they want. Yeah. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads the way, while the future, it fades into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last good night while I get
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by Psywar.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night closing.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
These are the Psy-War soldiers.
Hey guys, welcome to Caught Up. I'm Brian Riley, and this is episode 31. And why I always do that, I don't know, but it's just the way that it is, just how I am. But tonight I'll go over CISA again. My very first show I did with this when I bought my laptop and got off the iPhone type thing. I did it on CISA, and they're back at it again. They got a new public service announcement over our elections, and then there's an opinion from Patel Patriot, because we all are doing same things, right? So Gateway Pundit published something, and then I pay attention to CISA's website, which I'm going to show you so here in just a second. But anyway, Caught Up is an echo chamber for content creators. Almost all content on this show, Caught Up, is created by citizen journalists. I share content created by citizen journalists who I believe to be the best at finding facts buried deep into the abyss, or outlets who I believe to be best for verifiable information. We have to operate within their system, and we only have the information that they allow us to have. These individuals who nerd out on fact-finding missions and then add their opinion to better inform me to make the best choice for me in this war of narratives is resolute. The information war is a battle for your mind and ultimately compliance, and I'm excited to share the content in hopes you'll turn off mainstream media, who I believe is just a version of entertainment. So again, welcome to Caught Up. Smash them like buttons and all that good stuff like that, guys, if you don't mind. That would be great. Look here, let's do it. Let's not. Okay, back to what I was saying. CISA. They came out with a public service announcement. Of course, it's over and about our elections, right? So obviously they are involved in a lot of things. And so they are involved in everything that is cyber infrastructure within the United States of America, and maybe then some. I don't know. I've never looked into it that far. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Let me show you right here. Okay. As you, whoa, okay. As you can see, it's like a Gateway Pundit. One of my favorite whatever outlets, like I said, that I think is best for verifiable information. So FBI and CISA raise eyebrows with election cyber attack warnings. DDoS attack on election infrastructure could hinder access to election information, says the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. CISA earlier this week sounded alarm bells with conservatives by warning that cyber attacks targeting the 2024 election could happen this fall. The two agencies jointly released a public service announcement on July 31st warning that distributed denial of service, DDoS, attacks on election infrastructure could block public access to critical information on the 2024 elections, but assured the public that there would be no impact on election security. Yeah. I don't know what to think about that. No impact on election security, CISA. Let's go over a few things that CISA gets involved in. Scott Key Bridge. Ports, remember? They're involved in that. pipelines, railways. How many of these things have been hacked or damaged, destroyed, something? And it's CISA that's in charge of these things. These are questions that we need to be asking. Why is there so much dependency from our executive branch, I guess, on a four-letter agency, an NGO? And let me ask you this, guys. Since we're talking this way, does the Chevron difference play a role here now? Because no longer are they the experts over judges, right? Congress is supposed to be getting involved in these things. So it makes me wonder if there's a group out there already that is in the works, in the making of some sort of legal, I don't know what the right word is, where they go to court and they say this is illegal, and it doesn't matter what their experts say because here's why. And Chevron no longer plays a role in that. So it makes me wonder if agencies like CISA can be dissolved. Look, I'm not going to say that these agencies are not important to some degree. Okay, maybe they are under the right guidance and the right people, I suppose. But what they're doing now, what we can show what they're doing now, or what they're involved with when things happen, and those things didn't necessarily happen prior to their involvement. Not saying that could have never not happened, right? But saying it happened after they got their tentacles, so to speak, in those areas of our infrastructure, right? So we go back to this for a second. So it says the public service announcement is to raise awareness that distributed denial of service, the DDoS, attacks on election infrastructure or adjacent infrastructures that support election operations could hinder public access to election information, but would not impact the security or integrity of the election process, the FBI and CISA announced. DC Drano on X, same thing. I almost never say breaking, so listen up, right? The CISA and FBI put out a very ominous warning about potential election attacks this fall. And here's part of their bulletin, just so you know. It's a public service announcement, right? Let's see. Many of us said for years now that we're expecting a black swan event to occur that affects the 2024 election. Will it be like COVID 2020, World War III, a series of violent attacks, or cyber attack? CISA and FBI just put out a bulletin warning people of the last one, maybe a cyber attack. Who's a salty goat? Same CISA said, we had the most secure election in history. Sounds to me like they're setting the stage. Yeah, look at they're rigging things. Yep. Look at all these people here. Got something to say about that, which is, it's a good thing. We need that. We need this. We need these kinds of discussions going on, so that people they're just not ignorant to it anymore, right? So I'm big on exposure stages. If you've watched any of my shows, I think that ever since Donald Trump has come down the escalator, maybe even before, I just don't really have a whole lot of proof to verify that maybe it was before then, but we know that some things were exposed along the way. And the closer we get to this 2024 election, it just seems like more and more things are being exposed at a much more rapid pace. The whole Trump was a bull in the China shop makes a lot of sense now if you've been paying attention, because he has exposed the fourth branch of the government, which doesn't exist, but to those politicians in DC, they absolutely believe that it exists in just that manner, which is to line their pockets full of cash and the power that they have, and to stay in control, and to keep our elections where they are. CISA plays a big role in this. The most secure elections was 2020, and it wasn't. And who knows how many before weren't so secure, but we know for a fact what they did. I say that I know for a fact that they took the election from Donald J. Trump, because the burden of proof falls on them, and they cannot possibly prove that they got 81 million votes. Period. They can't. There's more proof out there that they didn't get that than there ever will be that they did get that. Joe Biden will never walk the streets of public. He'll be immune to all that stuff based on his presidential acts and the immunity that now we have verification from the Supreme Court. There is some, what do they call that, definition to what it is. Official acts, presidential official acts, everything that Joe Biden did in Senate and vice president was apparently going to be considered official acts under the president's, and he's going to get away with that. And because he wasn't 25th and he handed over his campaign to Kamala Harris, I'm pretty sure he was able to secure all of the asses of his family members, including Jill, to make sure that they don't go anywhere near a jail cell. I'll be surprised if they do. Just saying, my opinion and mine only. So back to CISA and the most secure elections. So they give this public service announcement. So my guys on Badlands, man, they really had a lot to say about this. It's what I like. And here we go.
What about this? Because we've been told, if you guys recall, CISA, they're the ones in charge, tasked with securing our election or our critical infrastructure of the nation, the whole nation. One of those subsets is our election infrastructure. And they put out an advisory, and I think it's relevant for us to read, because we've been told that our election machines are not connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Yet somehow they are susceptible to DDoS attacks.
Oh God! What's this? What is this publication called, by the way?
The actual publication. Well, here.
The domain, just whatever it is. Where'd you find it?
It's CISA.
Oh,
it's
sweet.
on
Okay,
CISA's website.
CISA.gov. Got it. Washington. Today, as part of their public service announcement series, 2024 election cycle, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation jointly released, just so you know, DDoS attacks could hinder access to election information, would not prevent voting. This public service announcement is to raise awareness that distributed denial of service, DDoS, attacks on election infrastructure or adjacent infrastructure that supports election operations could hinder public access to election information, but would not impact the security or integrity of election processes. The PSA is part of the agency's ongoing commitment to provide the public with information and the election infrastructure community with the support they need to run safe and secure elections. With Election Day less than 100 days away, it is important to help put into context some of the incidents the American public may see during the election cycle that, while potentially causing some minor disruptions, will not fundamentally impact the security or integrity of the democratic process, said CISA senior advisor Kate Conley. DDoS attacks are one example of a tactic that we have seen used against election infrastructure in the past and will likely see again in the future, but they will not affect the security or integrity of the actual election. They may cause some minor disruptions or prevent the public from receiving timely information. It is important to talk about these potential issues now because nefarious actors like our foreign adversaries or cyber criminals could use DDoS incidents to cast doubt on the election systems or processes. An informed public is key to neutralizing the impact of foreign influence operations and disinformation, which is why we put out this advisory on what a DDoS attack could and could not do.
Let's hold up there for a second, because I want to show you this.
Stones on these freaking monsters.
Yeah, read just this first paragraph.
Okay, does DDoS require internet? According to the search results, DDoS attacks involve sending forged requests to a large number of computers that will reply to the requests using IP address spoofing to set the source address to that of the targeted victim. This implies that the attacking devices, typically compromised computers or IoT devices, Internet of Things, must be connected to the internet to participate in the attack. The service they're trying to deny is internet.
Yes, which we are told that our machines are not connected to the internet. It's impossible for anybody to hack into that stuff. Yet we've seen repeatedly evidence that that's not true.
See what I'm saying? That part right there. What is it trying to deny? The internet. Patrick Gunnels, I mean, he just reads it right there from what that thing is, which is, let me show you guys, because I just want you to see that none of this is, you can find this for yourself. These guys are sharing it. I've seen this for myself. The same thing. John's probably getting the same thing. Patrick's probably getting the same thing that I'm getting, because we all learned, they're quite a bit younger, obviously, probably 10, 12 years or more. But we learned to go a certain direction, and here's where we're at, right? So this, let me show you real quick. Exactly. Right here. CISA and FBI released joint public safety announcement putting potential DDoS attacks during the 24 election cycle in context. Released July 31st, 2024. It's the same one Patrick just read from right here. With Election Day less than 100 days away. Right there. And it sends you to the links. It can send you to the links. Let me just say that. When you click on these blue access areas here. So, just so you know, this publication is to help educate the public on what the DDoS attacks are, their effects on election infrastructure, recommendations for voters, and victims reporting information. CISA and the FBI encourage the public to report information concerning suspicious or criminal activities such as DDoS attacks. So that's what I mean. They gave us a piece of that information. So what's going to happen here, right? I mean, we get this public service announcement here. If we're really going to think about this as adults here, like game theory it out a little bit, why are we getting this information July 31st, just before August, November, October, September, October, 3.5, less than 100 days, somewhere in that area away from our November 5th election or whatever, and all of a sudden we got CISA, who claims it was the most secure election in 2020, is now giving out these public service announcements along with the FBI in some sort of collaboration there. You have to ask why, right? They're going to try to stop the elections on the day of. Like, if you early voted, that's what counted. Day of voting, like, I don't early vote. I don't want to give them that much time to be able to manipulate my vote, right? So I live in the state of Tennessee, and it's probably no better than anybody else's. All of a sudden, we have a machine where you put a piece of paper in it, and it prints out everything that you accumulate, and then you turn around and hand it to a lady who turns around and hands it back to you. You put it in the machine, and it sucks it up, and then that's it. So I mean, hopefully, but who the hell knows, right? Because are we allowed to check the machines, right? So what are they going to do? So they shut it down election day, and they claim they got enough of votes all from early election, or election day votes count, and they got to stop it because they lost all early voting people when they voted for early. There's just so many different ways, and it's because CIS is in charge of these things, or got their tentacles on these things. I have to ask these questions. Why the hell do we have? Why does it got to be so complicated? You try to explain to people how the election process works within your district, counties, districts, just the way it's broke down, state, and within your community. And the way that it's all done is in how it's counted. It can all be done in one day, paper ballot. Don't have to have all these machines. We don't need to make it harder than what it is, and that's what we're doing. Not we, as in we the people. We have way too much more common sense than that, because that would make sense to do it the way that I'm talking about. Others like me, including our former president to be, and maybe he is the president. I don't know, because I don't really believe that Joey's legitimate. So we get the voting figured out. We get that figured out. ID, paper ballot, one day. I bet you we fix a lot of things in our local communities, our states, and probably our federal government too. So yes. Anyway, let's me go back to hang on, guys.
Well, okay. So, dude, listen, just let's be normies for a second and read the CISA thing in our head.
Normies.
I know, but put yourself in the mind of a normie. The normie's going to say, well, yeah, they explained that to you. What are you, an idiot? Don't you know that the election machines may not be connected to the internet, but the stuff that's nearby needs to be connected to the internet, because bite me. That's exactly as far as they're going to think about this.
Probably.
It's a clever PSA, in my opinion.
It is, and I'm seeing this from a couple different places too. They're trying to preemptively justify a delayed result.
Oh yeah,
and that's the key, because they're going to need some time to figure out how many votes they need to steal in order to get Kamala over the hump. And so that's what they're doing here. They're trying to preemptively do this. It's total bullshit. We're probably going to see more of this stuff. The misinformation and disinformation stuff has already been ramped up too. So it's not surprising at all, but it is funny when they themselves contradict their previous selves about election information. And in this case, it's the machines being connected to the internet.
See, they contradicted themselves. The machines are connected to the internet, which all of us knew. I would imagine everybody that's listening to me at the moment or listening to anybody else that was out there, the news wise, whatever, knows that shit's connected to the internet. Just my opinion. So, you know what you know. So let's go right here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. I just want you to see. This is CISA's their webpage. It's an official site of the United States government here, and they're America's Cyber Defense Agency, and look, you can see topics, spotlights, resource tools, news and events, careers, and about. Secure by demand's guide. Demand must be whatever. Secure by design, secure by demand. And then here's the updates. So this is where I get my information, just like John got his information, because we had to learn to dig. I didn't do it as well as they did in the beginning. I was kind of a baby in sort of so, but now here we are, and this is what I try to share, so that others like me that didn't know where to start can. So you actually go, if you don't, you're listening to me or you're listening to another show or something like that, and you don't believe what they're saying. So go to CISA's homepage and then look here. CISA releases Secure by Demand guide, which is whatever the hell it is they are selling apparently. CISA releases software acquisition guide for government enterprise consumers. Software assurance. CISA names first chief artificial intelligence officer, and I believe it's a lady. CISA FBI release joint public service announcement. Potential DDoS attacks during the 2024 election cycle. In context, see, there it was, July 31st, with open source artificial intelligence. Don't forget the lessons of open source software. So, look, right over here, August 1st, CISA releases 9 industrial control system advisories. And if you look into that, it's a little harder to read and to understand if you're not directly involved in it, but it has information in it that might be beneficial to somebody. But see, this is where you go. You get on your internet and whatever browser that you may use, and then you look it up, and as you see, it's an official website of United States government, and then it shows you here's how you know. Obviously, I'm using Google or something like that, but it's given me the information that I needed, and it allowed me to verify what was being said right there. And that's the part that we need to make important when we are trying to make decisions as a nation, as a people, because the mainstream media is not telling the truth, guys. As I said in the beginning of all my caught up shows, they are just a form of entertainment. They are no longer, they're not the barrier that's supposed to be between us and the government, the ones that give the transparency, all those fantastic things that they were designed for that no longer exists. It could exist again someday in the future, but right now it doesn't, because as you know, the Democrats got Joe Biden to remove himself from the campaign, and no one voted in the primary for Kamala Harris, but they gave her to you. And guess who propped her ass up when they did that? The media. She went from the most undesirable person on the planet, a no-show VP, to now the candidate leading in some polls. Over who? It's all fake and gay. Bullshit. That's why the thumbnail says everything is bullshit. I ought to keep it that way because it is bullshit. It's fake and gay. There is no truth in what they did there. They just unplugged one character and plugged another one in. And during that process, they have propagandized her all over the television to the point that there's probably going to be a whole bunch of people out there that vote for that dumbass. Just saying, calling it like it is, right? So that's what I mean. Mainstream media, they're not transparent anymore. We are the media. As John says, Badlands media, they are the media. And once you can train yourself to look into certain things and find the people that you trust, verify the facts that you believe that you need to know, and then you can share it at the water cooler, share it in your office, you can share it at home, at church. These things should be important in every day in your life. Maybe not to the point that it creates chaos in your home and chaos in your workplace, that kind of thing. There's a time and place for everything. And some people just can't handle it either. There's just some things you can't unsee. When you're throwing up on somebody, they may not be able to handle all of it. So some people have to take it in increments, like a little baby, from a syringe or some crap like that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But slowly but surely, the winds are coming, man. And I love it. I got to look at their notes and stuff like that. You guys ever heard of Clad X? It's a simulation. Have you ever heard of that? Obviously, Project 201 or Event 201, those kinds of things. Going through my notes from 2020, 2021, and and reading that these things, they did the same thing that I'm talking about today, where FBI and CISA jointly come out together and give us some information a few months prior to something happening, and no one's going to remember it except guys like us that have these shows where we can go back, hopefully, and go, see, we were trying to sound the whistle, then blow the horn, whatever the hell you want to call it, Paul Revere, whatever, to let people know that this may be a potential threat that's coming. Not like a threat that's going to physically hurt you. Overall, maybe. But obviously, if you can't make the choice for yourself because you weren't given the facts, that's the problem. That's just as bad. So, and this is what we're trying to do. So, CISA is a big damn deal. They're involved in everything cyber security. One more thing here, right? Just give me 1 second, guys, while I check this out. I have to. I'm gonna have to pull it up here. Okay, give me 1 second. 1 second. I gotta shut the mic off. Okay, I found it. All right, so I have to mute myself, otherwise it gives an echo. I'll leave my camera on, so maybe you can see my reactions or whatever. But anyway, just listen to what John and Patrick talk about CISA all over again. Okay, not the same thing, but just a little deeper into what it was. A little deeper, more information, guys. The more we know, right? So, hang on 1 second.
One more thing I just want to point out, and I haven't gotten all the way through this, and I've actually read it before, but I was going to read it again, but I have my kids this weekend, so I didn't have a ton of time. But I was going through the Biden administration national cybersecurity strategy, and I just want to point out, this is in here quite a bit, and the reason this is I think important to point out, because this is a problem. What we're about to read here, it's not much, but because we've covered this extensively, and I'll remind you of it as we go through. But this is a major problem that we need to figure out a way to fix, because it's almost like a double-edged sword. Like, there needs to be a certain level, I believe, of public-private partnerships, but the way it's currently established and the people making the decisions and how this is implemented, it's a cancer, because the same corrupt companies that are destroying are the ones that are being chosen to be the private companies that are partnered with our government to carry out all these essential functions that have to do with our critical infrastructure. Like a CrowdStrike being, you know how in my part 5 we talk about Dominion and Smartmatic and all those different companies being on the EIS SCC?
Yeah.
They have another one of those private groups, the IT SCC, Sector Coordinating Council, and CrowdStrike is on that, and it's set up the exact same way, where it's a financial conflict of interest. The government knows about it. They sign a waiver to allow it, and they do all this stuff without any oversight. And they're the ones implementing all the IT infrastructure for our entire country. But let's just read this one, maybe even sentence. I don't know.
CISA is the National Coordinator for Critical Infrastructure Security and Resilience. In this role, CISA coordinates with sector risk management agencies, SRMAs, to enable the federal government to scale its coordination with critical infrastructure owners and operators across the United States. SRMAs have a day-to-day responsibility and sector-specific expertise to improve security and resilience within their sectors.
Yeah, so CISA is in charge of coordinating all of these owners and operators of our critical infrastructure across the country, and it's toxic. I don't know what the fix here is, but going through this, like, CISA is being embedded everywhere. We went through it a while ago when they were embedded on the ports, and then just shortly thereafter that we have China hacking ports, and we have that boat that rammed into a bridge, and like all these things. And CISA is the deep state. They're the deep state, one of the deep state intelligence agencies. They're a 4-letter agency, not a 3-letter one, but they're deep state, and they're going to do the same thing and allow bad things to happen or do the bad things themselves with this upcoming election. So I know, we all know for a fact there's going to be some level of shenanigans. I just don't think we quite know what approach they're going to take, whether it's the terrorist attack or something, or hacking from China to prevent the voting, or if it's just a major steal or whatever it's going to be. There's going to be shenanigans, and CIS is going to be a part of it and also covering it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let's face it, CrowdStrike is instrumental for that. And just in case you were wondering, and I know you weren't, but now you will be, CrowdStrike is an anagram for wicked sort, tricked sow, which is a female pig, or sword trick. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Wait, what?
He said, what? Because Patrick Gunnar was going down this path with these anagram things anyway, and AI. But did you hear that? The definition of all that right there was amazing. It's oh gosh, where is it at in? Let's see where. I really thought it was right. Anyway, it was that booklet that he was reading from. It's a PDF. It goes 35 or 38 pages. The I think it's Biden's cybersecurity, whatever it was he said, just exactly. You know what? Let me see right here. Let me see right here. Bad, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That's this right here. Boink. That's what he's talking about. It's 39 pages. Right here. And I think he went to page 14 is where he was at. Anyway, once again, right here. CISA is the national coordinator for critical infrastructure security resilience. Right there. See that? Right there. In this role, CISA coordinates with sector risk management agencies, the SMRAs, to enable the federal government to scale its coordination with critical infrastructure owners and operators across the United States. And so, see what I'm saying, guys? This is exactly where, March 2023, National Cybersecurity Strategy. It's absolutely Joe Biden's administration. They're the ones that put that together. Yeah, so there's CISA in a nutshell, so to speak, because it it's involved in all that stuff. And as John was saying, the same thing that I've said, probably a bunch of you have said as well, that everything they get involved in, everything they touch, they destroy. And, so the elections are the next thing that has to be destroyed, right? So Chris Paul's analogy, robbing a train, you got the train's going no matter what. It's headed towards where it's going. And you can't stop it, but you got, the uniparty, deep state trying to rob it, and then you got the Patriots trying to rob it. Who's going to take control of it? We would just assume the Patriots take control of it, and then we have control of how things are implemented once it gets there, because it's all going in the same direction. Like Chris Paul said, was just it's all headed the same way. We just want to be the ones that are in charge of that part of it right there. So, yeah. Just trying to think. Was there any more? There may not have been. Let's see what Epoch has. If they had anything about it whatsoever, it would have been in none of them. Sometimes Epoch gets it, sometimes don't. Yeah, I don't see it. Like I said, this is on 31st, and what's today? Yeah. Yep. So it's Epoch doesn't have it because they're ahead at the moment. They're on the Kamala Harris Walls pick. So speaking of, that's sort of funny. What do y'all think about that? So Chris Paul and Patrick Gunn will have a particular opinion on it. Kamala Harris.
So shall we delve into the news of the week that was in 2020? Let's pick up where we left off last week just quickly for a little update. This is a tweet from Donald J. Trump. Darn it. I thought I was going to go with the no, let's just do this. We'll just stick with this.
Obama, who wouldn't even endorse Biden until everyone else was out of the primaries, and even then waited a long time, is now and Obama is a former United States president. Maybe it would have been more appropriate for him to do that in person. And it makes no friggin' sense that he and his muscular man in a wig wife needed to do it over the phone.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And you'd think that they would at least go on video or something, but nope, just audio. Same as Biden's appearance endorsing Kamala at her little mini rally. Gosh, man, We are so far beyond where we thought we would go.
We really are. Scott Adams is calling it a Biden double. He said that's not Biden. Look how tall he is. That's a fake. I don't know. Maybe it's an illusion. Maybe she's just not wearing her high heels and it makes him look taller by comparison. But that looks too tall. And that's Scott Adams. I call him the freaking Prince of the Normies.
It's a good name for him. Man, it's funny that Trump was kind of needling both Biden and Obama on that one, talking about how long it took for Obama to endorse. Man, the interplay between the two of them with Kamala Harris as the side piece, I guess, it's just mirroring that year. She's an afterthought. She's useless. She couldn't get 1% support in the Democrat primary, but we needed a black woman, so we had to go with her. Man, they all just seem so controlled. She's being chipped apart day by day with things that she said 5 and 10 years ago that used to get her all sorts of plaudits, and now it's an embarrassment because those ideas are no longer in vogue.
She's going to be amazing, my friend. I really hope she goes the distance. You saw the parody ad that Elon Musk, that Mr. Reagan tweeted out. He made the video. Mr. Reagan, who, by the way, is also one of the advertisers for epicminerals.net now. That was a coup for me to get. But he made a Kamala Harris parody campaign video. Elon Musk tweeted it out, so I'll play it for you, Chris, because I know how into Twitter you are. Here we go. This is going to be lovely. This is a campaign ad for Kamala Harris.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility of debate. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean, Joe Biden. You think the country went to shit over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, God, laugh. What a genius. That was really great. The significance part, nailed it. I have had this thought many times about Kamala Harris. The little sound bite that he left in there, the parts where she was trying to sound like Barack Obama. Kamala does this thing with her voice, and it's taken me so long to figure out what it is. And I think that I have figured it out. And I haven't viewed this, so we can all do it together. But I think that this is what Kamala Harris sounds like.
You know what's so cool about Jello gelatin pops? They taste just like Jello gelatin. But they've got a hand. So while your right hand is doing this, your left hand can be doing this or, you know. But if your left hand sees how much fun your right hand is having, it won't want to be left out. Now you have to share Jello gelatin pops. Real Jello gelatin.
Man, that's not the one I wanted. I thought he was going to, I know, but I thought he was going to sound so much more Bill Cosby-ish in that one.
But I think that everybody should pay attention for when Kamala Harris sounds like Bill Cosby. I'm almost certain that she's doing a Bill Cosby impression, and it's a very good one.
She's a freaking character, man, and I really hope she goes the distance, unburdened by what has been.
So Obama took forever to finally endorse the man that is his own vice president. And now Obama has supposedly been involved in that coup effort to take down that very same vice president. We do not call it a coup, though. And I was thinking earlier that maybe part of the reason people don't use that language about this is because Biden was never really seen as a legitimate president in the first place. Even
Chris,
for the people who represent our opposition, they don't believe it.
Hold that thought for 1 second. I have got to grab something real quick. Be right back.
Okay. Well, hey, now I'm doing this with all of you guys. Yeah, man. I was thinking about that earlier. Do you believe that the people around you, even the ones who supported Joe Biden, do you believe that they ever really believed Joe Biden was fully legitimate? They've kind of always been ready to let Joe Biden go, hoping that it'll stop and that they'll get away with the fact that they've helped cover up that stolen election for all these years. I really do wonder what people's true inner beliefs are about that, because it seems to me like people must know. And they haven't put up much of a fight with him being taken down.
They got their marching orders, dude. They got their marching orders, and it's just as simple as that.
That's true, but they are also pretending now to love Kamala Harris in order to justify ignoring Joe Biden being clearly taken out. Apparently, they threatened to use the 25th Amendment against Joe Biden. So they're trying to get rid of him. Now they have to really commit to Kamala Harris to make it like, oh, we're actually trading up for something better. And so they'll do that for a few weeks, and we'll see if after that point, Kamala Harris is still around.
So there you have that, right? You have Chris Paul and Patrick Gunnell's opinion on Kamala Harris, and you have well, they called it an ad, but it was more of a puff piece on getting rid of her. You know what I mean? Speaking of Kamala Harris, if we're going to be once again adult and have adult conversations or thoughts, so Joe Biden was the primary winner for the Democratic front runner for this campaign, the president, and then they secretly removed him. However, they used 25th, threatened him, whatever. He finally decides to walk away. And now they're stuck with Kamala Harris. I say stuck because that's what they did to her. They just stuck her up there and made her that position. And now she's picked this guy from Minnesota, the governor there, the Walls guy, Tom, whatever, that guy. And so I don't think she picked him. I think they told her that's who she was going to take. I'm a little bummed out because it wasn't Hillary Clinton, just to be honest. I was kind of hoping it would bust down all the barriers. Let's just do it right in one fell swoop. Let's just sink the ship all at the same time. But now they got this guy who may, together, the two of them may be more deep state and left and woke than Hillary and Joe. And that's sort of hard to think about, ain't it? Because in my lifetime, they've been some sons of bitches in that area, right? So here we are. They got Harris and then this guy who we all know what happened in Minnesota, you know, Kyle Rittenhouse and that black guy, whatever the hell his name is. that dude, that governor, he was a mess and all that, right? So I don't know much about him, but or the black guy that got his, like, that kind of thing going on his neck thing with like a knee or something. But I really think it was an overdose. That whole thing that happened in May in 2020 when they burnt the stake down in Minnesota, and that guy allowed it to happen. Is where I was trying to go with all this, right? Without saying names. So here we are. Here we are, 2024 in August. Their champion, their guy, has just stepped out of the race. They've been given this lady who never popular, as Chris so eloquently said. And then you have me believe that she chose a VP. The bullshit. Just bullshit. Just between you and me. You and me and the powers that be. That is bullshit. So we've heard Chris Paul, we've heard John. Let's see. Got a video. About our election. Video about our election. I'll see you in a second.
A democracy is a political system in which the people periodically, by majority vote at the polls, select their rulers. The rulers then have absolute power to make whatever laws they please by majority vote among themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also, by majority vote at the polls, select rulers who make laws by majority vote among themselves. But the rulers cannot make any laws they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic and transforming it into a democracy. The most tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of American principles of government. The writers of the Constitution were anxious to safeguard liberty against dictatorship, monarchy they called it. But their chief anxiety was to protect the country against democracy. Edmund Randolph, delegate to the Constitutional Convention from Virginia, said the general object of the convention was to provide a cure for the follies and fury of democracy. Elbridge Gerry and Roger Sherman, delegates from Massachusetts and Connecticut, urged the Constitutional Convention to create a system to eliminate the evils that flow from the excess of democracy. Alexander Hamilton, delegate from New York, said, "We are now forming a Republican government. Real liberty is not found in democracy. If we incline too much to democracy, we shall soon shoot into a monarchy." John Adams, one of the giants of the American Revolutionary period, said, "Democracy will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all. And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, democracy will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel." America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic, for which our flag stands, not to a democracy. The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. Someone asked him what kind of government the convention had given America, and Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Very old and very wise, Franklin saw through the mists of time to the day when Americans might trade their freedom in a constitutional republic for the promise of government guaranteed equality and security in a democracy. And beyond that, to the day when democracy inevitably degenerates into dictatorship, guaranteeing nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules.
That's pretty spot on video. I don't know if it's really old or they made it to make it look very old, but the video is pretty spot on, man. Because wow, this how not a democracy, guys. We're not that, not the way that the Democrats make it sound. They're big on making sure that we understand they're here to protect the democracy. And as that video would show you, that's not exactly what it's about. So, well, we're getting ready to close out the show here. As far as I got a couple videos, mostly Trump type things, daily meme, just to close the show out, and then a little bit of music. But what was important about tonight's show was the CISA aspect of it. I would suggest that you guys dig deep into CISA, and you'll find that it's going to take you all over the place. It's going to get real confusing in the beginning, but if you can figure out a system for yourself to follow it, then you'll find that it might make some sense. Trying to think if maybe Just Human or Burning Bright go into detail about it, CISA and that kind of thing, and I'm sure they do. They have their shows, and them guys, they really nerd out on stuff like that, especially Just Human. You get him on his own Rumble podcast or his Substack, and you know, he's on there 3 or 4 hours reading stuff like that, going in detail, comprehends it in ways. When he's reading, he comprehends it in ways that I would have to read things like 3 or 4 times, you know. But the guys are good. That's what I say. I love sharing their content, you know. Got a thing from somebody that claims to be with Rumble that said that I was being shadow banned. It's why I don't get any more live people than what I get, you know, 9, 12, 15, whatever it is. They wanted money to correct that. So I don't know if that's real or if it's not real, but I'm not going that route. I don't have that kind of money anyway. I just wanted to share the information that I was learning to people that were like-minded. So it's kind of hoping it would all work out that way. So, and so far, so good. Like I said, I'm blessed. Put a little bit of money into some equipment. It's not big time, but it's good enough. And I get to come on here and share the content and this, that, and the other. And along the way, I found some new things. So these dilly memes, man, they are amazing. These guys, they really do the justice here. So let's see. I think this one here is about maybe about the border, Biden Harris type thing. Really cool though. So
the greatest generation of Americans fought back the invasion of Europe's borders by a monstrous dictator. This was America at her best. Today, the Biden administration and the Democrats are allowing illegal foreign invaders to flood our borders. In a stark contrast to the America we know and love, we now have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris at the helm, allowing an unchecked surge of illegals across our borders. Will we allow these politicians to destroy the legacy of the greatest generation? It's time for action. It's time for Americans to tell their representatives in government to stand up for what's right. Tell the Democrats to stand up for Americans, not the illegal aliens. Tell them America wants a strong border and legal immigration, not a mass influx of potential threats to our constitutional republic. We stand with the greatest generation, with the version of America that is our best, where a strong and secure border ensures safety and prosperity for all its citizens.
Pretty cool. That's a good one there because I love how it uses the old the guys from World War II. They set the stage for that, you know. Daily Meme team, pretty good. Do some good stuff right there. So they go after Biden and Kamala Harris pretty hard on that one, don't they? Like that stuff, man. All right, let's see. Probably have one more.
With full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined. Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I would direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DEA agency in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. If the deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time. You could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies. Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
He says we will take care of it. That's pretty good. He's exposed it all, so you see it for what it is now. And if you don't, then you just don't understand where things are, where they are at the moment. Because video right there. So let me see. I think I got one more, but I don't think it's a daily meme. I actually think this one is a it might be Green Star. I think it's a Green Star Badlands video. Could be wrong. Anyway, it's a good one though. They did a really good job, right up there with Daily Meme. So hang on, I'll see you shortly.
They literally tried assassinating the president. And this is something I think we all need to be cognizant of. They tried shooting President Trump, like the biggest threat to them that there's ever been, arguably. I think they're going to try stealing an election. Like, it's a no-brainer now. If they're willing to try to kill him, they're obviously going to try to steal the election from him. So our job here, our focus, and what we need to unite around is making sure that they cannot get away with it. We cannot let that happen. We need to, like, metaphorically burn this shit to the ground at this point. And I think it starts with exposing the mainstream media, because they are the reason for this. Like, they are the enemy of the people. Like Trump said, they've lied about the Russia hoax, the impeachment. They basically called us all Nazis. They lied about the election. They lied about J6. They basically made Trump a criminal and threw the entire book at him. They've lied about everything. We need to become the news now, and that's all of us. We need to unite around exposing every single one of their lies from here on out. This shot at Trump is basically drafting you guys into the narrative war. It's no longer acceptable for people to be apathetic themselves or to allow their friends and family to be apathetic either. This is the time right now where we need to peacefully and patriotically make our voices be heard and not allow these people to get away with any more of this bullshit. Like, it's done. You need to get on social media. You need to get your ass in this thing and start turning the tides in the narrative war. Like, we can't allow it to stand any longer.
Very good one. Very, very good one, man. They did it. They did a very nice job with that, right? So, making some content. Them guys are doing a good job with it too. So, making sure we're all on the. Making sure we're all on. I'm all on the same page here. So, I think that's it, guys. I don't have. Did that one. I did that one. You guys saw that one. You guys saw that one. Saw that one. Saw that one. Let's see. Best parts. Restraints among chaos. Chris Paul on traders. The devil comment. Yeah. More psyops. Lots of stuff. There's some content in there, right? So, all right. The show is about CISA, technically, right? You gotta know who your enemy is. And right now, the government says that CISA runs our cyber infrastructure, all critical information, all critical infrastructure in our country, and then some. And we got to figure out a way to get that out of the hands of those agencies like that. Like I said, hopefully, maybe Chevron, with that being gone, plays a role in that. And these can't be so-called experts anymore, and we start dumping some things out, start with some stuff like this, and then showing you where to search so you can get the information for yourself. You can print it off and, like I said, talk about it, make it a topic of conversation. Nothing wrong with talking about things, and if people are uncomfortable about it, look, I tell people all the time, get bigger feelings. They're not being mean, not trying to push things down on people. I get it. If you don't like it, then you can tell. But at the same time, be adults and talk about it. That's why I said we're here we are. We're talking about. So, for example, one more thing before I get off here, they brought it up on Badlands. JD Vance, Donald Trump's VP pick. I mean, here we are talking about they gave him Kamala, and I guarantee you they gave her that dude from Minnesota, the Walsh guy. There's no way that she, cognitively, she's not even educated enough to make those kinds of decisions on her own. So they would have had to give that to her. They probably gave it like cards with faces on it. Shapiro, Kelly, Walsh. Anyway, back to JD Vance. Trump and JD Vance, right? Guy that's supposed to carry on the movement should something happen. And we know that they tried to make something happen, didn't they? I mean, they literally tried to assassinate Donald Trump. So J.D. Vance. So is this another exposure phase? Or we expose somebody else that has ties to other things? J.D. Vance has all these ties to the big tech industry, Silicon Valley, I think. Don't know a lot, just what I've heard, and could be wrong. But not the right pick. Could be exposed. I don't know. But these are good questions to have. These are fun. When you sit around and talk to people and they're upset, they're carrying on, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, you bring up a great point. Really? Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to look at it on that one side. Have you thought about looking at it from this perspective? And then so the conversation was not as harsh or confrontational, maybe. Well, people don't get angry or offended, That's all starting to wash away as well. So anyhow, CISA, all things CISA, what they're in charge of, and this, that, and the other. We picked on Kamala a little bit, or a little bit of Chris Paul and them, Patel Patriot, them boys up on Badlands. Like I said, they don't need any help from little old redneck here from East Tennessee. And but anyway, like our channel, share it. My channel, Resolute Exposure. The show Caught Up. And my little home's done. And the setup, the studio is set up with what I call a studio, right? I'm gonna do a little bit more content. I don't know. Just something to fill some time because this stuff was pretty cool. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching my show Caught Up. You have family, put your arms around them, tell them how much you love them. Wife, kids, grandkids, whatever it may be. Mom, dads. I don't have any grandparents or parents anymore. I'm 50. I have a stepdad, a stepmom, but my biological parents are all gone. And I miss them. So if you have them in your life, my grandfather was a World War II vet. He's a drill sergeant. Granted, he didn't go over there, but he was a drill sergeant. Very proud. You know what I mean? So they were alive. I'd hug their neck. I'd tell them, love them. Make sure you do the same. Have a good evening.
I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of a smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like a love, nothing like a love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, way she holds you tight when you need it most. It gives you just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. Gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. love, nothing like love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, way she holds you tight when you need it most. It gives you just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you find out. That's when you find out what you're made of. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand, but when you finally take that stand, you become a man. You needed to become. Why you left, I could not see. I guess people just do what they want. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads the way, while the future, it fades into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own.